Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is Dana Duffield from National Integrity Title. Dana, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, shake my hand. So we kind of know each other, but we kind of don't know each other. But I feel like I really know you because I've known your dad for so long, and I watched all the different pictures and all the stuff on social media. So talk a little bit about pre-business Dana Duffield, a little bit of like college life. I know you were an athlete, you did a bunch of stuff. So give us a little bit of the journey before you got here to where you're at.
I was going to say, how much time do we have? So I guess to give a little snippet of everything. So I went up to Rutgers in Newark, which was actually the first Rutgers ever built, not New Brunswick. So I went up to Rutgers in Newark. I actually was a criminal justice major. Always wanted to be a cop. And believe it or not, I don't know who I thought I'd be arresting, but whatever. And I was running track and field up there 6 days a week, which was insane. Yes, I was going up to school up there, and I was in my third year, believe it or not, and I was running 6 days a week, and I, every single day, Monday through Friday, I woke up at 6:30, had to go to the gym. From 6 to about 12:30, we had practice, and then from like 1 to 6, I had classes, and then from 7 to 11 every day, I worked at the gym. So I like lived there.
Yeah.
And it was March 16th, 2020. And I'm in my dorm, and I'm doing some homework, and I live with my teammates at the time. And I get an email from the university saying, hey guys, this thing called COVID, you got to pack up your stuff in 48 hours. You got to go home. We got to figure out what this is, and we'll notify you when you can come back. And I'm sitting in my dorm, and all my teammates are sitting in there, and we're like, did you get this email? Like, what the heck is this? So we start like frantically packing our stuff, and I only had a suitcase at the time, leaving all the food in the fridge, and we just leave. And I'm like, all right, well, this is probably going to be a nice little 2-week vacation.
Right.
Get off from track, probably not going to have to do any schoolwork. I get to Newark Penn, take the train down. My dad picks me up. And I get home, and I'm like, oh, all right, well, this is cool. I could ride this out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks pass. 2 weeks turns into 4. We know the story. A couple months go by, and I had finished out school online, which was an absolute nightmare. I don't know if you have kids, so I'm sure you had to deal with that. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine as a parent. But finished out the remainder of that year, and when I had come home at the time, I lost my job at school. So I was like, well, I got to do something for a job here. And previously in college, I was actually waitressing. So I waitressed at, believe it or not, Perkins, off of Route 73, really good pancakes. And couldn't work there because they were closed as well. So I was like, all right, well, what do I do? And unfortunately, the receptionist at National Integrity, she had young kids, and she said, listen, I quit. I got to go home. So my dad stepped in and was like, hey, we don't know how long this is going to last, but, do you want to be a reception? Paycheck? Sure, I'll do it. I don't mind. And when I had been a receptionist, I was doing that for a few months, and I got to learn a lot about the background of National Integrity and how they run things, which was very interesting. And then a couple more months went by, and I'm like, well, I can't keep doing reception. Right. Like, but what am I going to do? So I had asked them, do you mind if I get into the business development end of things? Which originally he said no.
I'm going to follow up with that. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Follow up.
No, I was going to say, the reason that I asked the question was because I remember, like, your dad and I have talks all the time. We've been doing business for a while.
And you have daughters.
Yeah. And at first when I talked to your dad, this is like maybe 4 years ago, I was like, so is Dana going to come and take over the business? And he was like, nope, absolutely not. She's not going to do that. George, my son might take over the business, but not Dana. Dana has no desire whatsoever to be in title. And then I walked into National Integrity one day, and you were there at the front desk, and I was like, oh, maybe just covering for something or whatever. And then next thing I look, you're like, I'm business development. I was like, oh, so I guess this really changed, because when I first talked to him about it, he was like, nope.
I think one kid was good enough for him. He's like, I got enough, which I completely understand. And I didn't even know what title was when I got into it. So I'm working reception, and I'm like, oh, well, I know we do closings, but like, I don't even understand what business development even does. Like, what is our job? Because from my point of view, working reception, even just growing up, seeing my dad, I'm like, all I do is go out to eat. Like, these people live their life.
Professional networkers.
I know, but really, that's what we do.
Sure.
obviously try to help people's business. So, of course, when I had first asked, he was like, "No, I don't want to get you in the mix," which is fine, and I understood that. And we kind of had a few talks about this, and the end result was, well, listen, if you want to do this for a year, that's fine. You should really put your heart at it and work towards it, and meet a certain quota to see if you could be in this industry, and if not, that's totally fine. Just go back to school and pursue that. So that was a little bit of our agreement.
That was the deal.
Yeah, and at the time, I just had come home from school, so I was still living at home. I was living with him. I was like, oh God, I work with him, I live with him. Like, I love him to death, but this was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I had decided. I don't think I ever mentioned this to you. So I actually decided, you know what? I want to be grown. I want to be independent. I moved out. So this is crazy. I went on Facebook. And I went on Facebook, like, roommate page in Philadelphia. Okay. I found 3 random girls. I cannot believe I did this. Because I was so desperate to move out. And, like, nothing towards him. I just wanted my own, I wanted my own independence. Found 3 random girls in South Philly. And I met with them, and I was like, oh, this is great. We'll move in together, pay a little bit of rent. And more importantly, I wanted to be in the city just because we have our feet really wet in South Jersey. Mm-hmm. So I felt like anytime I was going out to a networking event in South Jersey, I'm like, they know my dad, or oh, they know Sound City. Right. So
you want to blaze a new trail somewhere,
yeah. And so I moved over to South Philly, moved in with these 3 girls. Long story short, absolute nightmare. Don't move in with people you don't know.
Shockingly, it did not turn out the way that it wanted to, meeting 3 strangers on Facebook.
No.
Nice.
Exactly. So, and he did tell me that. He was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And I'm like, no, I feel like I really need to do this for myself. But long story short, rode that lease out. Have moved since, but yeah, that's a little bit of how I got into title.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, do you like it?
I love it.
Do you feel like this is circumventing the way to how you got to where you wanted to be?
So it's funny because someone actually asked me that the other day when I was on an appointment. They were like, "Do you see yourself like being in this for a while?" Because, well, keep in mind, I've been doing this coming up on 2 years. I turned 24 in November. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, you're still young. Like, do you consider, yourself doing this for a long time? And my answer then was, honestly, yeah, I do. Because for me, working reception and working at school, I was sitting in a cubicle. Right. Like 9 to 5. And for me, that was...
It's not your personality type.
No, right. I do respect it, but I just feel like I need to be on the road, and I'm a people person,
right.
So I really do enjoy having conversations with people, getting to understand their business, and seeing how potentially I can help them grow in some way. So I consider myself doing this for a while. I don't consider leaving.
That's awesome. So what are some of the things that you have on your goal board over the next year or two? Like, where are you going with national integrity? Not just national integrity, but you and your role. How do you plan on expanding?
Like, just for work or just
personal? Work first and then personal too, for sure.
Well, that's kind of an open-ended question because, like I was saying before, I'm into my 2nd year. So I have so much, like I do have a lot to learn. By any means, I'm not a professional. I'm still, I'm learning. Mm-hmm. So for me, I really want to start developing Pennsylvania more.
Okay.
So as of right now, we have a couple reps over there, but it's not like South Jersey.
Right.
We do have multiple locations in PA. We have the Bal-Kenwood, the Philadelphia office, and I just feel like there could be a lot more expansion over there, hopefully with a new office with some more processors and closers over there to make life a little bit easier for our clients.
Nice. Now, do you ever feel like people don't take you as serious because you're a young girl who happens to be the daughter of the guy who owns the place? Has that been like a hurdle that you've had to be like, look, I'm not?
I mean, I can understand that. So at first, when I had first started, I did think that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm young, nobody's going to want to talk to me. But that's not necessarily the case in a lot of people, So, for instance, I had a client, and we had this conversation 2 weeks ago. We were out at lunch, and I was meeting her for the first time. This woman had been using me for months, but we've only kept in contact over the phone. It was off of a cold call. We'd been working together for months, and, I would try to set lunch with her because I just, I want to know who I'm working with. I want to see her face to face. She rain checked, I rain checked. Finally, we finally got a lunch down. And I'm sitting at lunch, text her, hey, I'm here, can't wait to meet you. In person, finally. She walks in, she's looking around. And I'm like, oh, hey. And she goes, Dana? I'm like, yeah. She goes, oh, nice to meet you. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. You know, I'm so glad you're here, yada, yada. She's like, to be honest, I thought you were a lot older.
That's good. That's a compliment.
Yeah, I did. She was like, I thought you were like 40. I'm like, my voice is that deep? Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess you consider it, but I don't want to use that excuse, you know, because title, it's a little different. So it's not like, even though she's, you know, the daughter of one of the owners at National Integrity, he can't give me clients.
No.
The only thing that he can really provide to me, which he has, and not just him, I would say Dave as well, is really good mentorship.
Sure.
Is the one thing that I can say I have benefited a lot from is I have a really good mentor to call up and say, hey, how do I handle this situation? Or, hey, how can I improve this person's business? Or who should I get in front of so-and-so? So I will say for that end of the question, no, I mean, it's been a huge help having that.
Nice. The Philly market is really different than the South Jersey market.
It is.
We had an office over in Fishtown, and I was there, and I met this realtor out at an event, and he was like, we're going to go out on Thursday night. And I was like, all right, cool, we'll go out. We'll go do something. And I was like, okay, I'll pick you up, you know, because I don't drink. I'll drive. I'll do whatever. And he's like, all right, pick me up around 11. And I was
at night?
I was like, 11 at night? He's like, yeah, we're going to this rooftop champagne toast.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, dude, I might look young.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm 50, dude.
Yeah.
I am not going anywhere at 11 o'clock at night. I was like, what time do you get home? He's like, we get home around 3 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I wake up at 5 o'clock. I got kids, man.
Yeah.
I was like, if you want me, I'll
and a baby on the way.
Yeah, I'll give you a credit card. I'll buy the food or whatever, the drinks, but I'm not going out there. But I mean, you're younger, so that might not be the worst thing in the world. It seems like that market is younger. I don't want to use the millennial word, but it's a younger market where you can not be as scared as walking into the South Jersey office with a bunch of 7-year-old dudes that have been doing real estate for 40 years. You know, that if I was in your shoes, I would be intimidated at that.
It can be intimidating, but you just got to say whatever. You know what? Whatever. But in regards to the Philadelphia market, it can be like that at times. Mm-hmm. Now, I know, like, we know each other, but you don't really know me on, like, a very personal. I am, like, in on the weekends.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong. I love to go out. I like to have fun with friends, family. I am not really a party girl.
You're a homebody?
I am a homebody. Okay. And you know what? I've learned to, like, acknowledge that and, like, not diss it.
Yeah, embrace that.
What? I am. I will embrace that. I like to, you know, if someone asks me to go out for a happy hour, I'm all about it. I'll be on top of it. But in regards to staying out, like at 2, 3 in the morning, I just can't do it. I'm 23 and I feel like I'm in a 50-year-old's body sometimes.
That's awesome. Now, so you're an athlete and you've been in a lot of competing. Are you competitive like that in business as you would be when, you know, a D1 athlete is a D1 athlete.
Well, D3. I was at Rutgers in Newark. But I will say, I am a little competitive.
Yeah.
In a good way though.
Sure.
Not in a
cheat and cut rate.
No.
Okay.
No, and I will say that's one thing my dad has instilled in me very well. You know, if you're gonna do business, do it right. Mm-hmm. Don't be shysty. Don't be sneaky.
Yeah.
No, I am very competitive in that sense. Just not in a bad way, but you know, if I see someone at our office that's doing certain numbers, I just have that weird like, oh man, if they can do it, I can do that too. You know.
I don't want anyone to fail, but I don't want to lose. You know what I mean? I want everyone to come in like very close second to me. Yeah. I always want to be the best. I want them to just be just a smidge underneath me. But I'm competitive like that.
Which is funny that you mentioned that because I had been out at a networking event months and months and months ago, and there was another title rep there, and I'll get a coffee with anybody because I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, like maybe they have information that I don't have and maybe need and vice versa. And I had said to the title rep, and I won't name names, I said, you know what, maybe we should grab a coffee sometime, you know, talk, whatever. And I can't do that. You're my competitor. I looked at the person and was like, I don't have competitors. Right. I really don't, you know.
You're your competition, right?
Yeah, like at the end of the day, I mean, I pay my own bills and you do the same. So, I am competitive in that sense, but not in a
Yeah.
in a bad way.
I talk about the Harvest Network all the time. There's other mortgage people in the Harvest Network.
Yeah.
And the first time I reached out to one of them who was new, I was like, yo, listen, if you want to sit down and talk and go over strategies, he's like, yeah, but we kind of go after the same realtors. I'm like, yeah, but I believe when you put that energy out there, if you put the energy out there that a scarcity mentality, that there's only a limited amount of stuff, then that's what's going to come back to you. If you put the abundant mentality out there, like the world is full of people, there's more than enough, everybody can be successful, that comes back to you, you know? And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't want anyone to go out of business. I want to be number one, but I want everyone else to be just a smidge below.
What's that saying? It's like your competitors are like, I'm losing the line. That's going to really bother me.
Yeah. Well,
but it's like your best race is when you race your best competitor.
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah.
They bring the most out of
good
you.
competition always brings the best out of you,
that's
for
the
sure. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Like if you compete against people that you dominate, you won't ever get any better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody raises themselves for sure. All right, now we're going to go with a music question as your personal question to finish it off.
So Melissa had brought this up to me.
Okay.
And she was like, oh yeah, he might ask you your favorite music. So on the ride over, I'm like, oh, what's my favorite song? What music do I like? It depends on my mood.
Okay. So, but the question is, tomorrow when you wake up, a genie comes to your house and says you can have any singer or band come to your house this weekend and perform 2 songs.
Okay.
So it would have to be live, someone that they could be dead, they could be still alive, they could be current, it can be anyone you want, but.
So I will say, I think I would actually pick Elvis.
Okay.
And I got weirdly obsessed after watching his movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. I've always loved Elvis growing up, in my house at least. I always knew on like a Sunday morning, if Elvis would always be blasting in the morning.
I would have went with Sinatra at your house.
No, believe it or not. We were not Sinatra people.
Okay.
We were Elvis people. And on a Sunday morning, I would smell, it sounded like nostalgic.
Right.
Elvis would be like, I'm caught in a trap. And like I would smell like bacon coming up the stairs. So I would probably say Elvis.
Elvis, in which 2 songs? Caught in a Trap would be?
Yeah, so Caught in a Trap, and then I would probably say If I Can Dream.
Okay.
So those are probably my top 2.
Awesome. Dana, thank you so much for coming to the neighborhood.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.